The ground split beneath his feet, buildings cracked like paper, and screams filled the streets, but all Michael could think about was saving that little boy trapped under the rubble. Michael Turner, a 36-year-old single father, had faced many storms in life, but none like this one. It was supposed to be an ordinary morning in Los Angeles. He had dropped his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, at school and gone to work at the construction company where he had been employed for nearly a decade. But by noon, the earth itself decided to test him in ways he never imagined. The earthquake hit hard, 7.8 on the scale. Sirens wailed, glass shattered, and chaos erupted everywhere. As people ran for their lives, Michael saw a collapsed car near the office gate. Beneath it, a small boy was crying, trapped by debris. Without hesitation, Michael threw away his safety helmet and rushed toward him. He ignored the falling chunks of concrete, ignoring the shouts of his supervisor who yelled, "Michael, get back here!" But Michael couldn't. He remembered Lily, how scared she'd be if she were in that boy's place. He lifted the heavy slab with trembling arms, blood dripping from a cut on his forehead. It took every ounce of his strength, but he freed the boy and carried him to safety. Moments later, the office building behind him collapsed completely. The shockwave threw Michael to the ground. His vision blurred, and when he woke up, he was lying on a stretcher, surrounded by paramedics. The boy's mother, her clothes covered in dust, was kneeling beside him, crying with gratitude. "You saved my son," she said, gripping his hand. But before Michael could reply, everything faded into darkness. When he regained consciousness hours later in the hospital, he learned the worst news. His company had been destroyed. The owner had decided to cut staff to survive the economic fallout, and Michael, who didn't show up after the quake, was among those fired. That night, Michael sat on the edge of his bed, holding Lily close. His hands trembled as he whispered, "I don't know what we'll do, sweetheart. But I promise you we'll be okay." Lily looked up at him with innocent eyes. "Daddy, God saw what you did. He'll take care of us." Michael smiled weakly. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to believe that good deeds still meant something in a world that often rewarded power over kindness. The next day, he returned home after visiting what was left of his office, just piles of dust and steel. His phone was dead, his wallet empty, and his heart heavy. But just as he turned onto his street, something made him stop. His small, worn-down house was surrounded by 10 gleaming Ferraris. Red, black, white, all lined neatly in front of his gate. Neighbors gathered, whispering and pointing. Michael froze, thinking it must be some mistake. To his surprise, her office door was open. She looked fresh, professional again, as if last night had never happened. But when their eyes met, she gestured for him to come in. "Ethan," she said quietly, "thank you for last night. I owe you an apology, and probably more than that." He shook his head. "You don't owe me anything, ma'am. I just wanted to make sure you were safe." Her expression softened. "Still, I said some things I meant, even if I shouldn't have said them then. You're a good man, and a good father. I've been thinking about that a lot today." Ethan shifted awkwardly. "Just trying my best." "I know," she said. "And I also know how hard it is when you're doing it alone." He looked up, surprised. Claire continued, her voice gentler now. "My father raised me by himself. I used to think success was about being the best. But lately, I think I lost sight of what really matters." For a moment, there was silence. Two people, so different, yet both broken in quiet ways, seeing a reflection of each other. Then Claire took a breath. "Ethan, I want to make a proposal. There's a new opening in management. You've been doing the work of 3 people for months without complaint. You deserve better." His mouth fell open. "Are you serious?" She smiled. "Completely. And this isn't charity. It's recognition." Weeks passed, and Ethan's life began to change. The promotion meant he could finally afford better childcare for Lily and start saving again. More importantly, it gave him a sense of pride he hadn't felt since before his wife passed away 3 years ago. Claire, too, began changing. She started leaving the office earlier, volunteering at the children's hospital on weekends. Sometimes she'd stop by Ethan's desk just to ask about Lily. Slowly, a friendship bloomed, unexpected but deeply genuine. One Friday evening, as they both packed up, Claire said softly, "You know, that night you drove me home. I thought my world was falling apart. But maybe it was just falling into place." Ethan smiled. "Funny, I was thinking the same thing." Months later, at the company's annual gala, things looked very different. Ethan was now a confident manager, and Claire, though still his boss, felt more like a mentor and friend. When she took the stage to speak, she looked out over the crowd and said, "Sometimes, the people who change our lives the most aren't the ones above us, but the ones beside us, who show us grace when we least deserve it." Her eyes met Ethan's across the room. And in that moment, everyone clapped, unaware of the quiet story between them, the night a single dad drove his drunk boss home and reminded her, and maybe himself, what kindness truly means. Because sometimes, the smallest act of decency can rewrite two broken lives.